I'm going to give you a full update on what's happening with AMMs, a reason why validators might not be voting yes currently for it. There are a lot of concerns actually going on around AMMs that if they were implemented could be very catastrophic for the network. I'm going to talk to you about those. David Schwartz and some other people from Ripple and around the space devs did a space. I wanted to play a couple clips from that space before we actually get into it. I just want to show you where we are right now for the AMM vote. We are sitting at about 17%. We do need consensus of 2 weeks or more of 80% or more, so we're not even close to that. You can see who's voted yes and who maybe hasn't voted yet at all. It does default to no unless somebody votes yes. So these are all some of the validators that they're waiting on right now. You need 28 out of 35% of the votes in order to pass this, in order to get AMMs going and have that going for 2 weeks or more. So let's go ahead and get into a couple of these clips. This is going to be a little bit of Q&A. I'm going to ask, Dave is going to answer what is an AMM on the XRP ledger. Also, we're going to get a little bit of information about the proposal and what's happening right now, addressing some front-running concerns on the AMMs. And then I wanted to end with mechanisms that protect the XRP ledger from high loads. So let's go ahead and play these clips, and then I'm going to get into the reasons why some validators haven't voted yes yet and are worried and concerned, and some things that Cryptonairz put together, and I want to go through those with you. So let me go ahead and play this first. We'll get started.
So different than normal automated market makers to get a good start.
The automated market maker is exactly what its name suggests. It's a market maker. That is, a market maker is an entity that is willing to both buy and sell some asset or trade either asset A for asset B or asset B for asset A. And the idea is very basic. Like when you want to buy a stock, you want to buy a stock when you want to buy it. You don't want to wait for somebody else to come along and sell it to you. So there are people, sometimes specifically chosen, sometimes just happen to be there, who are waiting to both buy and sell a stock at any time. So you can come by and sell it whenever you want to. Those are market makers. This market maker is automated, which means it's built into the XRP ledger. So if there's an automated market maker between two assets, say XRP and some USD asset, that automated market maker will both buy and sell XRP at any time to anybody who wants to sell XRP. The other cool thing about it is it's a ledger function that users can participate in. So if you have XRP or USD, you can XRP or USD to the market maker to trade with. And in exchange, you own shares. It's effectively like owning a portion of the AMM's assets. And you get tokens that represent that ownership, which you can then hold or trade. So it boosts the liquidity on the ledger and it boosts the utility. But the thing that's the most exciting to me, and this is personal to me because I've been trading assets for a very long time, it actually harvests volatility. It makes a profit when it trades, and volatility drives people to trade. If you look at like the volume in the trade of digital assets, price drives volume, but also volatility drives volume. When there's volatility, when the price goes up, there's people who want to buy and sell because it's a different price. And so that prompts them to act. There's a lot of volatility in digital assets. So there's a lot of opportunity to make revenue from people trading based on the volatility. There's a couple of things that are unique about this AMM. So there's one or two things that are unique about its design, and there's one or two things that are unique about it that just happen automatically. There's a free bonus from the fact that it's on the XRP ledger, so the specific things built into this design is it has the continuous.
The yelling is David Schwartz's granddaughter, so I can't do anything about that. I do apologize.
Auction mechanism to take some of the profit that arbitrageurs would get and give that to the liquidity providers. So the hope is this will provide an unusually good deal for the liquidity providers. I hear my granddaughter yelling in the back. And the other thing is because it's on the XRP ledger is very fast, a couple of seconds per ledger, and very cheap. And those things produce advantages in the function of an AMM. If it's very expensive to trade with the AMM, then people are going to be reluctant to trade, because if it costs you $10 to make a trade, you're not going to make a trade that makes you $9. And so the AMM loses opportunities because of transaction fees. Similarly, if you have to submit a transaction and it might be a couple of minutes before it executes and the price might change against you, you'll be more hesitant to trade, and the AMM will lose opportunities due to those latencies. Because the XRP ledger is so fast and cheap, we expect that the AMMs will have much more opportunities to trade. I'm super excited to see if all of these things I'm excited to see the actual practice prove that these things are right, because obviously it's one thing to see things in theory and it's another thing to see them actually happening. So I'm
So the concern right now is what David just said. In theory, this is all supposed to work pretty well, but in actuality, it might not. All of these ideas and the idea behind AMMs is really just on paper right now, but in order for it to pass and to really be implemented, we don't really know how it's going to fully help the XRP ledger and how people will use it or abuse it. And so let's go to this next period here. Anna Shell, I think is her name. Where is the proposal right now? Let's play.
You've been very active around the amendment proposal. And I would like for you to give us maybe an update on where the amendment proposal is right now, and maybe what the authors have been already doing to deliver more clarity around the amendment.
Sure. So as you mentioned, XLS30, we have proposed an amendment around when Apex was going on. The amendment proposal is out there. And the last I checked, I think we have 5 years in favor of it. RippleX also voted in favor, I think last week. So that's where the amendment proposal status is. In terms of
BitTrue was the latest yay. They were over here at nay when I checked this a couple days ago. Let me get back to her. Sorry.
So there were, as you mentioned, since we released, we published the XLS30 proposal, there have been some questions and concerns from the community that we have heard from various channels. And in response, there were 2 reports published recently. One is around the performance testing of the XLS30 AMM. And the second, another blog post that we published yesterday, I believe, that addresses some of the concerns that have been raised around, again, performance testing. Then there were some questions around front running and some questions around, I think, why do we need an AMM when we already have a limit order book based decentralized exchange? I don't know if any of you have read that, but it addresses some of the concerns around that. We have also so this proposal that we have a specification out there, we have an implementation, of course, and it makes, as David said, theoretically, it makes a lot of sense. It is very intuitive that XRP Ledger provides a very good platform naturally because of the inherent features of the ledger. It's pretty suitable for having a native automated market maker. And that's theory, but we are also doing some research in collaboration with some academics
Okay. They're working with academics in order to better understand everything that's going on. Let me go ahead and get this next clip in. So addressing front running on the XRP ledger, this is David Schwartz's question.
The most frequently asked questions, to be clear, when we talk about front running, it's not meant that there is insider information or something ahead of market that is being used. It's basically how you sandwich, I guess, transactions to execute an arbitrage that way. I guess that's the way here to refer to it as well. And I want basically to hear from David. So one of the questions is this sort of front running amplified with the AMM? And if so, what is the impacts of it on the ledger?
I'll start. There's an extent to which it is amplified and there's an extent to which it's not. To one extent, like if the AMM is extremely popular and there's more activity on the XRP ledger, there will be more opportunities for front running. There's X trades per minute right now, and there's Y trades per minute later, and Y is a lot bigger. But obviously, like, we want the XRP ledger to be popular, and so that's not necessarily, to an extent it's a bad thing because we don't want a lot of front running, but obviously we don't want to like not grow the ledger. Because the extent to which I think that's not true, though, is that the AMM amendment increases liquidity and reduces spreads. And the opportunity to front run, the bigger the spread and the lower the liquidity, the more effective front running is. So if we tighten spreads and reduce liquidity, overall front running will be less effective. But I do think it's possible that we will see an issue. It's not technically front running; it's a form of arbitrage. But it is a case where expensive traders. And if we do see more of that, we do have some suggestions for techniques to combat it. It's just I don't think we exactly know like what that's going to look like for real. But I don't think that's a reason to oppose the amendment again, because that would be, if we have a problem with front running, it's going to be because the amendment has made the DEX very popular, and that would be a good problem to have.
All right. I want to address one more thing, and then I'll get into some of the reasons why these validators are holding off their votes, okay? Let's play this last thing. It's talking about mechanisms that protect the XRP ledger from high load.
And Shell, Jazz, and Sophia.
Sure. The primary mitigation is the number of transactions that are allowed in a ledger. So the servers that are participating in the consensus process monitor the rate at which consensus is working. And what's going to start happening is that if you start to have too many transactions getting in, so first of all, it's proactive. It doesn't wait for the system to be in trouble. So essentially what it does is, let's say it says in the last 100 ledgers, we've gotten 40 transactions in each ledger. It doesn't set a hard limit, but what it says is if you want to get more than 40, if you want to get a 41st transaction, and you have to pay a little bit more. If you want to get a 45th transaction, you have to pay a lot more. And if you want to get a 50th transaction, you have to pay an absurd amount. And so it regulates the number of transactions that goes in each ledger. And so long as the system is operating reliably, that number will go up. So if the previous ledger, there were, let's say, 45 transactions with no problem, we'll allow a couple more in the next and a couple more in the next until consensus starts to get slow. If consensus starts to get slow or unreliable, it will then reduce, it doesn't really reduce the number of transactions it allows, but it requires a higher fee. And if people are willing to pay higher fees, then the fee will escalate. And eventually you'll reach the point where whatever is flooding the ledger, let's just say it's some jerk who's just flooding it with completely meaningless, he's moving XRP back and forth just to be a jerk. How much is he willing to pay for those transactions? Someone once analogized it to someone trying to snuff out your campfire with $100 bills. Like, if they're doing it, you're not super, like, they're going to stop doing it real quick. And then the attacker will have to continue to spend at a very high rate to maintain their attack. And eventually they'll either run out of money or they're using XRP to do it. So they're going to have to buy that XRP at some point in order to sustain their attack. And so that's the mechanism that protects the ledger right now. And the ledger doesn't know if a transaction is good, bad. An XRP transfer could be somebody buying a house, or it could be some jerk just moving XRP between two accounts they control. The ledger doesn't know. So it can't figure out whether a transaction is good or bad. It just limits the number of transactions by balancing the fees to protect itself from like a technical collapse. And those mitigations obviously are in place today, or anyone who wanted to could just destabilize the ledger with just a small amount of money.
All right, cool. And then, so why are these validators not just jumping on board right away to vote yes? So let's get into that, right? So the drama around XLS30D. So basically, if you're looking at the current vote figures, you may believe they're all conspired to vote no, but it's not the case. There's no such thing as a neutral vote. All the votes are either no or yes until a specific decision is made to vote. So basically, all these people that have on the no side haven't yet made up their mind what they want to do. It automatically defaults to no. Okay, it's a good thing to know. And here is, according to the documentation, default vote parameter should be set to yes. Bug fixes, everything else defaults to no. All right, so this is in the code where it says introduce AMM's XLS30D, and here is register AMM, supported yes, vote behavior default to no. Okay, that's good to know because I'm learning this too. There's no deadline for voting on XLS30D, so don't be concerned that you're going to miss a crucial day. The only way for XLS30D to be totally rejected is if the whole XRPL dev community decides to remove the AMM code entirely. So the vote could take months, hopefully not years, but there are some things that we need to address before maybe some of these people vote yes. Okay, to be enabled, amendments must have 2 weeks of continuous support from more than 80% of current UNL validators, right? So that's 28 out of 35. 29 would give it 82.9%. There's also, as of this moment, there's 206 nodes that are not up to date on the XRP ledger. And then it says, although 100% are all current UNL validators, right? And if XLS30D passed, these nodes would stop working, and that could be catastrophic for the networks. What needs to take place, I think that these validators need to update their software in order to do this, but that would be really bad for the XRP ledger. These could be banks that are running nodes, or maybe even central banks that need to update their information. There's also a critical pathfinding bug. When clients connect to a submission node via WebSocket using pathing, the node fails due to running out of memory. So Ripple locked up clients when using pathing. There's also this third argument of spamming and flooding the network with unintentionally bad written scripts. Historically, this has happened with trust lines. Thus, it is realistic to expect this to be an issue, right? So that's also a big issue. There's also front running on the XRP ledger. We're back to the third argument, but then this time about front running the ledger. A faulty script would result in an abundance of unsuccessful transactions, which we'd prefer to keep at a minimum. There's also unknown edge cases. They're unknown because they are only noticeable after a specific length of time has passed and certain stress tests have to be performed. So this is also a concern. If you want to go ahead and pause and read that too, please do so. There's also the reliability of the CerTick audit. Whoever thought, right? CerTick is not as reliable as we thought to. Their prices are crazy, right? But July 11th, 2023, the first audit, 31 findings, 0 were critical, nothing was major. And then just 6 days later, on July 17th, a critical bug was found, inconsistent ledger state. Nice job, CerTick. Good work. TLDR, why a technological standpoint should we choose to wait and give the developers a bit of breathing room? This is saying, hey, should we give them a little bit more time? Amendment block nodes, unrealized critical bug, easy flood to the network with unintentionally bad written scripts. There's also high performance implications due to failing transactions, which is also the front running, unknown edge cases, untrustworthy security audits, right? That was all put in there. And also, if you want to follow Cryptonairz Twitter, it's Cryptonairz right here. If you want to go ahead and follow this, I'll include the link to the AMM vote, the AMM chat with David Schwartz and the developer team, and all these lists of reasons why validators are maybe not voting yes on AMMs. And my question to the community is, do you feel that these concerns are justified? Because I certainly think that this is a huge problem, especially when you have 206 nodes that are not updated and that could stop working. In fact, if this gets passed, that is like the biggest thing that stands out to me. I'm not a dev, so maybe there's other things in there that stand out more to you. Please let me know down in the comments if you guys got value out of this. Please let me know. If you made it to the end, let me know as well. I am back recording, guys. Just an update on Luna. I didn't want to do this before. Luna had some seizures on Friday. I had to rush her to the ER, the vet ER. She is on some seizure medicine right now, but between her needing surgery on her back paw and now the seizures, it's been very hard for me to mentally sit down and record some videos. Just want to thank everybody for the kind messages that you've been sending about Luna. Thank you very much. She's probably going to be doing surgery in November sometime. We're still trying to decide on what procedure to do. There's 5 different procedures that one leg at a time, 2 legs at a time. We're not sure how or much we want to put her through in one surgery. Thank you for all the love and support. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching the channel and being a part of my learning experience, me growing, and you also. Please let me know down in the comments if I can answer any questions about this AMM situation. Bye, guys.